Hi, in this video you will learn how to create vending machine custom screen with fake interior and expose parameters to create many variations. So let's get started. So we have our vending machine, and now let's go to modeling. In create we have rectangle to create our plane. So you can see it already snaps to surface, so just clicking on vending machine. Now let's play with our width and depth. So width it will be our height actually, and we can grab the lines there and position more in the center. I think 140 is fine. If you will notice some issues, maybe a little bit more on the distance, this is when you have two surfaces very close to each other. We're calling it Z-fighting. So then you can just grab this plane a little bit and move just a little bit in front. And we can save and close this. I prepared some textures so that we can apply and test. Okay, what we need actually for the fake interior is a node interior cube map. But as you can see, if I'm searching here, it's not actually appears. Some material functions created by Epic Games, they still not appear in the search. So if you will go to all and then search here, this is our node interior cube map. If I will connect it directly to base color and preview, you can see it already creates something like illusion of boxes, but just like many of them. If I will hover over the tiling, you see it says 4x4. I don't know why by default it's that, but if we just connect one, it will create just one. And you can see that we have these interesting colors, and this is actually coordinates. It's really similar to our texture coordinates here, see, on this plane. So you may notice that some nodes are blue and some are green. Blue, it means it's material function. And normally in Unreal, if you double click on the blue one, you can open and look inside. But here in the corner, again, if I'm clicking, you can see that I can't open it. And that's a problem. I will just explain in a second why it's a problem. But if we will mask it, if I will grab, this is red channel, this is green, and this is blue, I would be able to use it as a mask. So for example, if I will pass it through this sign, like this, and with a 4 in the sign, and connect it to base color, see it's already doing something interesting. If I will pass it through the 1-, it creates this nice now transition. And now if I will grab all of that for our blue channel and combine it, see we have already really nice fake interior with kind of like a shadows in corners. But now there is a problem. If I will save that, this interior is for the cube, so it's basically a perfect square. And our vending machine, it's actually rectangled. So if I'm looking on this side, it's actually touching that side. It's fine. But then if I'm looking in that direction, that side is really far away. Maybe it's something what you want, then it's perfect. But I would like to move this side closer to that. So basically match this corner. And maybe I would like to even control any side and maybe take that back wall and maybe move it back. So basically create like infinite tunnel or something like that. Interesting effect. But again, we don't have any control over that. So this is sometimes a problem in UEFN because we can't open material functions created by Epic Games. But you're always welcome to open this in Unreal. So this is actually what I did. I went into Unreal Engine and I opened that and I looked what's going on inside. And we actually will create our custom interior. Let's go back in our folder. And in here, go material function. And let's open it. So I will copy paste, and you don't need migrate this kind of stuff. You can just Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V from Unreal into UEFN material like that. So I don't even need this output node. So it looks a little bit messy, but don't worry, we don't need so much in here because some stuff it's not even connected, you see? So we don't need that, we don't need this. Then, for example, this stuff we don't need. And because of that, we actually then don't need this switch and this and all that. Yeah, so everything what we need is just in here. I will clean it and I will add parameters so then we can control in material instance. And then I will slowly go through it so you can copy. Okay, so we have this, so we need this. Then for the tiling, you see if I'm clicking on this input, so this is where they had this 4x4. So I will set default 1. Then we will need this parameter, and this. Because we have so many parameters, I will use color node and convert to parameter. So then we have 4 inputs. I will keep original ones just in case maybe I will need in future. Just remember what default was and I don't need then go to Unreal again. Okay, so scale, it will be this one. So you see it's 2 and -2. So I will go to this control and set here 2 and -2. And this subtract, it will be our offset. So it's 1 and -1. Basically what's going on. So we have texture coordinates. So this is only 2 coordinates. We're getting that. We fracture that. Then we have our tiling. Then we have our offset. And then it's append. If you remember, append is basically adding another axis. So it's actually adding another dimension. So because we had, let's say, XY or UV, and now we're adding third one. So this is Z. Or otherwise, it was called here, for example, UV and W. So this is actually our depth. So we can convert that into... So this is how that back wall we will be able to move. And final one is this one. I will show you later that when I will do some tiling and offsetting, our this interior will start bending because these tangents will start breaking. And this is how we will fix that. I will call it so I can understand. Tangent control. And we actually, for now, done. I will add a little bit more in here. Let's just clean up this. Now I will go slowly and you can copy that. I will add tick to expose to library, then I can always find it. Now back in our vending machine screen material, if I will search now for interior, this one start appearing. but we need this custom one. And if I will grab this and connect to this one, I don't even need this one in here, because by default now it's 1. And if I will preview, nothing actually changed. It's a good thing, so nothing is broke. We can delete this one. Let's open material instance, because in material instance we already will have parameters. So you see we have this fake interior depth, and then we have this UV controls and tangent. So I will show you what's going on in here. So let's look on this back wall. You see with this now slider you can create something like that. So you can bring it much closer or really far away. I will leave it by default. Now let's bring this wall closer to this edge. And you can see what I was saying, how it's really bent. And now in tangent, if I will put 0.5, now it looks perfect again, perfectly working. So as I know that this works totally fine, so I can take these parameters and set them inside of the interior material function. So they will be by default. You see now I switched off, so it means everything is by default and it still stays there. Okay, so instead of doing this every time in material when I will need that, why not keep that inside this fake interior? So I will grab this, go back here, I will keep output this one as well, but then I will create new one. So Control V. So I won't control the darkness of the edges, so I will call it ambient occlusion, because it's not real shadows and it's more kind of like an AO. I'll use smooth step for that. Then this will be our back wall. And what I need, just copy this output and create another one. Because we have now two outputs, they always will fight which should be first. So we can control that again with priority. So I won't keep that on 0, and I will put this one on 1. So it means this one will be second. And I call it AO mask. Back in here, I don't need now all of that. I will grab that and connect to base color. Remember, it had like really sharp dark corners. Now they're much softer. Can control the darkening of the back wall. Like if you want maybe really dark, like that, or maybe really bright. So you have full control of that. So now let's start texturing and adding additional stuff to it. First of all, I will create rear root nodes. Okay, let's texture our interior. I will use this one as a texture object and parameter. It's a default one. Now I need 3 samples, because basically we have, it's similar to triplanar projection. So we need to project 2D texture in a cubic environment. Even while it's fake, it's still cubic. That's why it was called, this node was called interior cube map. We will use this fake interior projection. So we need that node, 3 of them. And each need to be masked. So this one, it will be RNB. This one will be GB. And this one, yeah, RG. To control tiling, we need multiply. And let's create scalar parameter for scale. Append. And connect to all of them. Now in here, lerp and lerp. So this one will go in B. This one will go in A. This in A and this one in B. Like that. And we need mask for that. And actually I forgot to add our texture. So now we have this walls texture. So just grab here and add wall texture. And again and again. So if I will connect it like that, we need tiling. So something happening, but not great. Different tiling in there. That back wall is totally in mess. We need to use this to create our mask. Grab again our interior projection. We need 2 of them. Grab our component mask. So for this one, I need G, and for this one, I need B. Now it's same. It's a sine node and then multiplication. Again, 4 in here. Now grab step. Instead of like soft transition in there, I need super sharp. I need 0.99 in both. And if I will preview this, you can see it creates very sharp mask. So this is side walls. And this is top and bottom. This one, it will be side walls. And this is top and bottom. And it works already better. And now, if we will look in this wall scale, so we can scale it like that. And like this. But this bottom and top is different than sides. So to work with this, what I will need to do is create separate scaling for this top and bottom and separate scaling for the side walls. So let's go back into our material. So instead of this, I will create color and then convert to parameter. Let's name it walls UVs scale. So default will be 1. And then for the Y, it will be 2. And again. This is side wall scale. And this is top and bottom. Now on the bottom and on the top, we have same scale. And we can already preview with different textures. Let's say this one. Because it's not UV space projection, so you see when I'm even increasing depth, it's basically just tiling automatically this texture, so they're not stretching. Let's organize this better. I will add here intensity. Because some textures may look too dark in there. I will create a root node. Okay, what we will add now is some star or frame and then item. So it could be weapon or whatever. By default, we can use this star. For the weapon, we can use this, for example. Okay, straight away I will create again color and color to parameter. So this will be frame UVs control, and this will be item. This will be 0.55, 0.03, minus 0.5, and 60. And for now, this will be same. So this will be our scale. This will be our offset. And this will be to control this fake depth, because we have this fake interior inside. So with this parameter, we'll be able to control how far this frame or weapon will go as well inside. Just in a second, you will see. And same for the item. Okay, so now we need texture coordinates. Instead multiplication, I will use divide. And we'll use our scale. So this one is frame scale, frame image scale. This item image scale. For the offset, I will do addition. Frame image offset. And item image offset. And now for our depth, we need bump offset node. So this goes into coordinates. In here, I will set it to minus 0.01, and this as well. And then for the height, it will be our depth control. So frame image depth, and here item image depth. Then this into UVs, and this into UVs. If I will preview that, we have many of the stars and weapons. What we need to do is like select both these nodes and go into the sample source and set it to clump. So it means it's not repeats then. If I will now increase this number, so you see it makes that star goes like far away. So 60 is fine. To get rid of the background for the frame, we're just grabbing our alpha and multiplying with our color. Now to combine this together, we need lerp. Then take this into the A, because we want that to be on the background. Then gun foreground, and alpha from the gun will go into alpha in lerp. If I will preview, here we have gun in front of the star. This will be our intensity. What I need as well is a mask. It's the same as we did with a weapon, connecting it alpha to alpha in lerp, but now we have two of them, so we need to combine both alphas. So for that, I will use max node. And because it's a black and white here, so it will grab only white from here and combines them together. First, when we previewed without textures, we had some ambient occlusion, let's say, like basically fake shadows in there, but now everything is gone because we're not using that. If you remember, so we have this fake interior ambient occlusion mask. So what we need multiply this interior world texture, that AO mask. And now it looks much nicer. So we've got that, and now we need combined item and frame, so we use lerp. So this one goes into A, frame and item goes into B, and alpha will be our frame and item mask. And we've done with a color. When I multiply it, I set it to 0, so by default should be 1, maybe even 1.5. I forgot to name these UV controls for the item and frame. Let's go back and do that now. So in here, so let's call just scale, offset X, offset Y, and then depth, intensity. Same here. Now we can control that easier. So for example, see, I can control how far this star should be. If I'm setting it 200, let's say like far away from there, and then into item, so I can put 200 and it will look that basically together. So because of the shape of the image which you will use, it can make this image to look a little bit off from the center. So then with offset, you can align it better. we can add our glint now. So I can grab this weapon and connect it like that. And it's automatically have it there. I want to add gradient for this background image. Let's create two colors. So in here, I need to grab this thing. So I'll just create a root node. UVs, but then I will mask it. I don't need two coordinates, I need only one. So basically with G, it will go up and down, so vertically. And now we need to multiply it with our frame. And you can already see a gradient. Because this is 3 parameters, so we can control that gradient. Because we can control colors, so you can create more variations. Okay, now up and down movement. For that, we need time. I will use time with speed. Then sine, map. So for this, I will use minus 0.1. And for this, 0.4. Select value 1 and this value 2. In here, I will mask it in RG. To apply it, I need to add it in here. And it's working. We need same for the gun. If your gun won't move with the same speed or something weird will look not like here, not like in my case, then what you can do, you can create separate same thing, but duplicate it with a separate this speed control and connect it separately to item. And for the final thing, I want to add screen effect. So first of all, I will use tangled mask, round trip tangle mask. And for the parameters, I will create again color, convert to parameter, green frame control. So here it will be size X, size Y, ZX, ZY. 45.9, 26, and 0.5. I need pen vector twice. So from here it goes to box dimension. From here it goes to center, and we need control corners radius and sharpness. So this is just scalar parameter. Basically, I don't need it to be actually in the center. I want it to be on the edges, because on the center I want to see through. So now I want texture, so apply interesting pattern on the edges and same time add color to this pattern. So first let's start with a texture. So this one. And now I will multiply with our mask. If I will add this screen frame texture to emissive, you can see what's going on. Now let's add color. Let's multiply with our frame mask first, and in here with our texture. You would say like, why with both? Because we already masked our texture. But if I wouldn't do this and only this, it will apply color only on the pattern. So everything in between pattern won't be colored. I want to add both together like this, and if I will preview, so it makes my pattern stand out more, but same time in between I still have color. And of course we will be able to control intensity of that. Well, when you're creating comments, if you're creating comments, sometimes it's useful to add some colors to them. And to do that, as you can see here, you have color like that. So you can colorize, so then maybe you can easier find something. It's actually in here, I need to add color. Now let's add lines. Again, we're grabbing our UV space, we're taking our G channel, which is vertical, then multiplying it. So this will be our lines tiling or number, because with bigger number we will get more lines. And then we'll connect this just to normal sine and preview. You can see we have this line. So basically you don't need texture for that. Okay, and then I will add multiply, and this will be intensity. I want really subtle. So we have these lines, but I want to animate them. Before the sine, I will add subtract. And then time with speed. And line speed. If I will preview, you can see they're moving. Now what I want to add is maybe one thick line sometimes to go down. Let's grab this. I don't need multiplication, but I need subtraction because it will move as well. And I need sign. Because it will be only one line. That's why I'm not using multiplication. And I need to rename this one. Then after sign, I need step. And this is to control separately thick line. Now in here, where we have screen frame, actually I don't need this frame texture, I need frame color in here. And then I need multiply, and then here will be our screen lines. And in here, screen color. And here it is. And now in material instance, we have now lots of parameters, but they are in a mess. Okay, so we need to categorize them. And secondly, I forgot to add some reflection because I want it to look like a screen. So let's go back here. I don't need parameters for that, but you can set it as parameters if you want change per mesh, but I will set it to 0.95. So of course it's not metal, but it basically improves a little bit quality of the glass if you're using metallic as well on the glass, and it's darkening a little bit and exaggerating a little bit more reflection. So with roughness, I will go to 0.1 and I will leave specular. Now our screen is much darker, and same time we can see some reflection in it. So now it looks more like a screen. Okay, now let's categorize. Screen frame texture, I forgot to convert it to parameter. Let's do it now. Now we have almost everything categorized. It's just only this, and this is actually from this custom interior. So let's do it here as well. So now we have fake interior, glint, then we have fake interior, all this texturing, and then we have screen. Now, for example, I can drop bow. Or instead of the star, I can have this one. And I can control gradient. We can control intensity, maybe it's too dark. So as you can see, like a lot of control. We have speed increased, then we have all these lines. You can decrease intensity, change color. Different textures. Smaller. You can make this line even glow like that with large intensity. Speed. I would like to say thank you to my all supporters. I appreciate your support. Thank you for your generosity. You can join our growing Discord community, where we like to discuss UEFN tips and tricks, showcase our work, and help each other. You can find link in the description or in the channel header. You can get project files on my Patreon or just buy me a coffee to support me. If you're interested in learning more about UEFN materials, coding, widget UI, and more, feel free to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notifications when new videos will be released. See you soon.